Welcome to Dreams of Wings, and welcome to Reno Stead Airport, and welcome to the FreedomFox by Parallel 42. This iconic aircraft, if you've not seen it before, is operated by a chap called Trent Palmer, who has a very popular YouTube channel, and I will put a link to the channel below just in case you haven't seen it, but I'm guessing you have. He gets up to all sorts of adventures in this aircraft, and it is iconic, and it's fantastic to see that Parallel 42 have brought it to the sim. So just to give you a bit of background, Trent Palmer is a drone pilot in the film industry, and back in 2014 the FAA made it a requirement that all commercial UAV pilots had to have a minimum private pilot's rating. So in this way Trent was introduced to manned flying, and consequently fell in love with it, and incredible considering that he was scared of heights when you think what he gets up to now in the FreedomFox. FreedomFox itself began life in 1997 as a Series 5 Kitfox STI. STI stands for Short Takeoff and Landing Inspired. And since purchasing the aircraft in 2015, Trent has made many modifications. This really is a labour of love. So she started with a Rotax 912 engine, but she's now packing a Rotax 915 IS turbocharged fuel injected engine. It's got incredible visibility, this aircraft, and a useful load of around 612 pounds. And although Trent considers a safe landing distance to be about 400 feet, he can put the FreedomFox down in 50 to 100 feet in the right conditions. Now, something that Parallel 42 have done, which I think is quite brilliant, is to bundle this aircraft along with the FreedomFox. And just in the same way that Trent Palmer has customised his FreedomFox, this is your aircraft to customise. So through the mod manager, there's various different things that you can do, and we'll come on to that shortly. But also it's going to come with a paint kit, so you can have your own livery. And in this way, Parallel 42 have done what they're really good at, and that's immersion. They're kind of the kings of immersion with all the different things that they do. They're giving you the opportunity to have your very own aircraft and change it and adapt it, and it becomes your baby. And I think that's just such a great idea, and something that, again, is a good reason to get hold of this. Right, let's talk mod manager. So here we go. First of all, you can install Trent Palmer himself as your avatar, and then if you're feeling adventurous with your Fox 2, we were talking about being able to customize it, you can add the GotGravel experimental engines and tunes. And GotGravel helped Parallel 42 to develop the FreedomFox and also the Fox 2. They are experts at this sort of thing. You could even change the logo, and you can change the glass so that it's clearer glass without scratches, and this is really just the beginning. It's exciting, or it's going to be exciting, to see what else they can add. At the moment in this version here, it's just got the 2 liveries. There are going to be more, and also we have got Trent Palmer's own home. Yes, you can fly to Trent Palmer's own home, and we're going to be flying there today to have a look and see what else we can find.
Okay, so here we are in the cockpit, and what a cool little cockpit it is too. We've got the kind of minimalistic controls we'd expect in an aircraft of this type, but we've got this fantastic glass cockpit too. What we've got here are 2 G3Xs. One is on a smaller screen than the other. Now, where the smaller one is, that actually used to be an engine management unit. But to save a bit of weight, Trent took the constant speed prop off that used to be on this aircraft that was run by the EMU there, and he's just put a fixed pitch prop on, and as a result he didn't need the EMU, so he put the smaller Garmin unit in there. So he's got a bit of redundancy in case one of them fails, and also you can just present more information on there as well. So that looks rather cool. Otherwise, we've got all the switches and bits and pieces that we would want in there. It's really incredibly simple to get around. There's also an autopilot control here, although interestingly in one of Trent's videos, he kind of makes the point that once you've got this trimmed out, it's so beautifully stable that you can actually just fly it by banking using rudder and kind of leaning back in the seat to shift the centre of gravity, which pulls the nose up a bit, and therefore that kind of acts as your elevators, as it were. And that's one of the beauties of an aircraft like this. Of course, you can do all sorts of things that you wouldn't normally be able to do In a bigger aircraft, of course, we can't simulate the leaning backwards and forwards in this because, well, you can lean backwards and forwards in your chair, but it ain't going to do much really. I should make the point right now that one of the exciting things about this project is that Trent Palmer was actually involved in the flight testing. So you know that the guy that flies this aircraft in real life has actually been part of the development of it and checking its accuracy and authenticity. And I think for me personally, that's one of the really exciting things about this aircraft coming to the simulator, is that we're starting to get more of these aircraft that are a little bit more realistic. And this one is no exception. This one is a beauty. You're probably going to find that I am raving about it quite a lot. I'm a fan of the aircraft. I'm a bit of a fan of Parallel 42 and what they've done before, and I just think this is beautiful. I haven't done much flying in it yet, but what I have done is great fun indeed. So let's get us started, and then we can talk a bit more about what you get in the package. So following the checklist here, I'm going to check that the parking brake is on, which it is. Put the master on. We will put the fuel pump on. Nice sound. Crack the throttle. Lane A and B. I tell you what we are going to do first of all. We're going to turn the fuel on, aren't we? That would be quite useful. Where were we? Lane A is on. Lane B is on. And let's start her up. Okay. Get some avionics on. Now I am guessing that you've seen these instruments before, and we may well know a lot more about the Garmin than I do. I'm used to steam gauges, but this is really nicely implemented in here. One of the nice little things I like here is the trim indicator, so you can see at what point your trim is actually set. So let's just have a quick look over here. Look at our T's and P's. Everything's good. Oil pressure is good. Nice. Put the strobe on just yet. Okay, so while we're just warming up a little bit, let me just talk you through what you actually get in this package. So first of all, this is going to be released on the 21st of December, and it's going to be priced at $30. It's going to be exclusive to Orbex for launch to ensure quick updates post-release, but then after stabilization it will appear in the Microsoft Flight Simulator Marketplace on PC and also for Xbox. So you Xbox people, yes, you will be getting this. As I said, it was produced in collaboration with Trent Palmer, who has flight tested the aircraft in the sim. The flight model was created by GotGravel, who are experts at this kind of aircraft and have been involved in various projects. The beauty of this is that Parallel 42 are going to make sure that as FreedomFox gets modifications, gets changes, as far as they can in the simulator, they're going to follow that. So if Trent changes something on the real FreedomFox, you should see it in the simulator as well, which I think is a pretty cool little feature. And again, it's kind of all about the immersion. Fox 2, which is the white aircraft I showed you before, is a moddable experimental build. That's your aircraft to do with as you wish, and you can use the mod manager to install the mods and liveries and also, as we saw, the scenery in with Trent's house. Now, additional liveries are going to be available on release. I don't know what those are at the moment, but you'll probably find out by the time you've seen this. You'll have seen what's actually in there. But that really is this package in a nutshell. You're getting quite a bit, and the quality is just excellent. It's one of those aircraft that as you look around, you can just see the finger marks the dashboard there. There is a lot that that has gone into this. It's yeah, just beautiful. While I'm here, let me just quickly show you a couple of things. If we click on, if I remember rightly, that one, you can see you can you can install Trent's little one-wheel thing up on there, and you've probably seen some of his videos. He hops into that or onto that and runs around when he's on the ground. But for the purposes of this, because I'm a rookie, I'm taking any chances, so we'll get rid of that. Okay, so we'll do a quick check. Controls free, which I are. I'm just going to quickly close that. Check the rudder. Yep, that's all good. We've got plenty of fuel. I'm going to change the. Let's have a look. And leave that as it is. Is the 101325? What have we got? So that's absolutely fine. Okay, we'll do a run-up ignition check while we're here. So a bit like with mags, in this we have lanes, whereas like a kind of aircraft I'm usually flying has got magnetos. This has got these lanes, and these are really to do with the engine control system. But for the purposes of these tests, they work in a similar way. So while they're both on, the electronic brain is deciding which one is the best to run the whole thing. When you isolate one, then it cuts off a bank of spark plugs, essentially. So let's have a look. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. So they're working nicely. Another quick look over here, check all our temperatures. Yep, everything's looking good. Okay, let's get flying. Check the brakes. Yep, they're working nicely. So I've done a couple of takeoffs in this, and it's quite an interesting aircraft. And they have quite successfully mimicked the takeoff that you actually do in the aircraft. I've done it once. I kind of wanted this video to be quite fresh in terms of, you know, this isn't a tutorial on how to fly the FreedomFox. This is me experiencing it at the same time as you do to a certain extent. So as I say, this isn't a tutorial, this isn't how to fly the FreedomFox, but it's very interesting how they have kind of developed the aircraft so that you can kind of do what you see Trent doing, including the incredible high performance takeoff, which I'm going to attempt to do now. It won't be the cleanest, I'm not going to pretend it is. So don't expect miracles, but the aircraft is impressive, even if my takeoff isn't. The ground handling of this is superb, by the way. I think it has a nice natural feel to it. It doesn't have that kind of GTA feel that some aircraft do, especially some of the default aircraft. It feels quite natural. It's very sensitive, of course, but it feels good. Let's just watch those taxi lights there. Okay, let's get some lights on. Okay, so what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to just bring us round here. There's a 2-knot wind from 254, so I'm going to use this runway here. It's not a massive crosswind, but it seems silly when we've got the option of using this runway not to take it. There we go. Let's bring it to a gentle stop. So what I'm going to do is put full nose down trim. See the indicator moving there. And then I'm going to just quickly check that. We're going to use, there we go, mid flap. Okay. So having a quick look to see everything is there. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so let's put the power on and see how quickly this takes off. Look at that. Stall warner came on a little bit because it did jump into the air early, but look at the rate of that climb. Absolutely amazing. Let's lose the flap now. And come back on the power a little bit. So that was really kind of flying at the limit. That was the stall warner coming on, not all that brilliant, but you can kind of see just how high that will climb, or rather how fast it will climb when you use that kind of maximum performance takeoff, which is great when you're doing off-field landings and you want to get out of an area quickly. You might have trees or obstacles around. This just throws you into the sky. Absolutely amazing. And I love how they've actually implemented that in the sim. Okay, quick look around, just check that everything's good. Everything feels fine. Let's change the trim. Trim her out nicely. And this really is Trent Palmer country too. This is where, if you've seen the videos, you'll see this is the kind of terrain that he flies in. So yeah, this really does have a nice feel to it. I think you do get that sensation of that you're passing through air. I know that probably sounds a bit odd, but you know, a really good simulator aircraft, because we don't have that feedback of actually sitting in an aircraft, having that kind of physical force. I think a mark of a good simulator aircraft is that despite that, you somehow have a feel of the aircraft passing through the air and what it's doing. And yeah, I kind of get that with this. It does have that feeling. For example, with the takeoff there, with all the power on, you could almost feel it just gripping the air as it climbed. It's quite incredible. So they have done a very, very nice job with that. And I think also from the couple of landings that I've done, you also get that feeling as well, which is quite interesting. It makes for, especially coming into kind of quite difficult to reach smaller areas. I have been a bit silly with some of the approaches I've done, thinking I could land somewhere which was absolutely, you know, ridiculously tight, and realised at the last minute that that wasn't going to happen. But as you're kind of coming in slow and low, you just have a feeling of it kind of gripping the air as you come in. But the wonderful thing is you've got all that power to get you out of trouble when you come to your senses and realise that you're probably making a big mistake. You can very quickly pour the power on and get the hell out of there, which is really good. So here we are. If you've watched the Trent Palmer YouTube videos, you'll have seen the how this house was developed, how it was built, and you might even recognise this area. I have to say, one of the wonderful things about Microsoft Flight Simulator is that the terrain and the scenery is so good, it's so realistic that it brings everything to life. And you know, this is no exception really. And there we have it. There is Trent Palmer's house, where FreedomFox has its own little hangar. Again, a nice little touch that this has been included, and it's the kind of thing that you know, you get from Parallel 42. They don't just give you an aircraft, they don't just give you a tool, they give you something that's got all sorts of bells and whistles and hidden things and fun stuff. And to actually have that little dirt strip there next to the house in the sim is quite fantastic, especially if you're a fan of the videos. Okay, so let's do an approach. Hold on tightly. I have not actually landed here yet. Now, I don't want to worry you, but I did want to save it for the video. Okay. Okay. Let's just have a tootle up to the front door. Make sure we don't bash into anything. Be a bit rude to pitch up at his house and then smack into everything. Let's turn her around. There we go. So we've got a hangar door, which opens and closes, so if you time it right you can actually pop the aircraft into there. Let's quickly jump outside. Okay, there goes our door. But we're not going to chance it. Not feeling brave enough yet to tax this in there. We're going to take to the skies again, so let's go. So, Let's check where we are with all our bits and bobs. So we'll do the same with our flap. We'll do a normal takeoff this time, actually. Let's do a normal takeoff. So flaps are going to be up. Let's have a look here. I'm just having a look at the checklist, which is why I'm looking down. Okay. I'm not going to put full nose down trim this time, but we've just got a little bit. It's the Spitfire pilot in me. Let's see how this goes. So anticipating a little bit of P factor as we go on. Okay, let's go. Beautiful. What a lovely feeling. Come back on the power a bit. Not the same beautiful towards my takeoff, by the way. I was talking about the feeling. Wonderful. There's nothing quite like that feeling of leaping into the air. I think one of the things that, hey, we're here because we love flying, right? And one of the great feelings of flying is when you take off, you get into the air. And this is something that in this aircraft you really feel very nicely indeed. One of the really interesting things about this is going to be the different kind of landings and the different kind of terrain. For example, you know, you can land, kill the flaps as soon as you land, and if you do that, it's going to push the tyres down into the ground. It's going to give you plenty more grip, and it's going to drop the tail to allow with braking. So you're going to use that kind of a landing if you're coming in somewhere where you haven't got a huge amount of space and you want to stop quickly. On the other hand, you can leave the flaps in if you've got a long runway. Keep the nose down, and then that's going to give you a lot better flexibility. So there's all sorts of different things that you can do with this that make it that bit more interesting. And because of the avionics suite that we've got in here, you can do some good old nav as well, and why not? One of the points I should make, the constant speed prop that was taken off, Trent took it off because he didn't really need it for the kind of flying that he does, and it was additional weight that he didn't really need to have. So we don't have a prop lever or anything like that in this aircraft. It's nice and simple, and for the kind of flying that we're doing, you know, you get a pretty good economy, and you get pretty good performance, as we've seen. So it's not really necessary. But if you wanted to do particularly long distance using a constant speed prop to get your best economy and all that kind of thing, that would be a different sort of animal. This is very much like pulling on a pair of muddy boots and heading off into the wilderness. So what I'm looking for is, when I had a quick flight earlier on, I saw over here somewhere there was like a reasonably safe area to put in a landing in the scrub. So I thought we'd have a go at that. Being a little bit of turbulence up here. Look down at T's and P's. Things looking good. Again, like I was saying, the scenery in this sim is just absolutely fantastic. And amazing, it's out of the box. It's incredible. So what we're going to do first of all is, I didn't land here. We're going to take a look. If we were doing this for real, we'd obviously be looking for rocks, anything that was going to get in the way of the wheels, cause us some damage, which we don't want. So we just have a quick look, check that it looks pretty safe, and also get an idea of the gradient, and where the pitfalls are. Now that bit there doesn't look particularly even to me from here, but there's an interesting piece over there which looks a bit better. I don't want to risk smashing up the plane on this flight, so I'm not going to take that one back there, although I am sorely tempted, I can tell you. But we're going to use this bit here. It's a little bit flatter, a little bit more sensible. After all, you're on board. I don't want to cause you any injury. So let's just bring around. Bit of height. Don't want to pick up too much speed. A little bit of flappage. Yeah, that's almost too safe. If Trent Palmer was watching this, he would be laughing. Let's go all the way with the flaps now. Trim nose up. Watch that speed. Coming in very slow. Trim. Watch that angle there. Just gently does it, gently does it. Keep that nose up. Right, there we go. Let's head up the hill. What I didn't want to do was prop strike there, and for one moment, for one awful gut-wrenching moment, I thought a prop strike was imminent. So let's have a look. Let's have a look at the gradient here. So while we're doing that, I'm going to dump the flaps. Dump the flaps. Put it to the midpoint. And, let's take that there. And what we're going to do now is the super speedy. Let's get the hell out of here. Kind of take off. So nose trim all the way down. Just checking the flap again. Yeah. There we go. Right, let's go. And off we are. Flap up. Go back on the power a bit now. Nice. That is a whole lot of fun. So hopefully you've got an idea there of what you can do with it. It's a very useful little aircraft. I think for going around and looking at scenery and seeing what's going on, it's perfect because you can fly low and slow. For practicing skills, I should think one of the things that Trent's known for, and I should say also he's part of the Flying Cowboys, one of the things that they're known for is training, pushing the boundaries, safety in mind, and always learning and always practicing. And that's certainly one of the things that you can do in this aircraft. Let's just trim it a little bit better. One of the things that you can do is keep practicing and getting those short field, off-field takeoffs spot on. Now there's another little thing that I want to show you before we wrap this up, and for that I'm going to head over by the river. Let's see what we've got here. A fairly flat area. It's one of those weird boundaries that we've got with the Bing maps where you have an unusual border where the tiles are. Okay, let's see what we've got. Put the power a bit. houses there. We don't want to get too close to them. Get within 500 feet of those, we could be in a little bit of trouble. Don't need the FAA coming after me. Okay, let's go here. I've left that a little bit too late, but I'll see if I can land just on the other side. This is being very silly. Let's see if it'll work. Was over. That was heavy. It was heavy, but it got us where we wanted to be. Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll quickly pop everything off. The fuel go away. Switch it off. Open the door. And look at this. So there you go. We have our own little campsite set up now. How cool is that? So as you've probably guessed, I absolutely love this aircraft. I love it for the quality of the flight model. I think you know, they've put so much into that. I love it for the extras, for the little bits and pieces that that also bring it to life. And it's an aircraft that's all about the spirit of adventure of aviation. It's all about going anywhere off the beaten track and experiencing the world, experiencing nature, and having a blast with some good old stick and rudder flying at the same time. Anyway, I do hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed FreedomFox. And I look forward to seeing you again on the channel very soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.